What is going on, everyone, and welcome into another episode of Expected Bets for your go-to podcast for all things hockey betting. I am Gator Betting, joined by my two co-hosts, as always, Gretzky Betskis and Franco the Banker. Guys, 3-game slate, but it looks like there's a bunch of opportunities, especially on the prop side of things tonight. But before we get into that, how we doing?
Another day, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bitcoin's doing well.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, some great hockey last night. I think we can start there. The Sharks are on a roll. I was just 1 year off on them. Holy fuck. That sucks.
Hottest team in the league.
The Sharks are back. Franco, how did things go your way last night, and any games you want to talk about?
Last night was annoying because it just ended up being a break-even type of game. I feel like at a point I felt like I was really rolling, like things were coming in nice, and then that Pens Islanders game kind of wrecked me a little bit. Crosby got a goal early. I had him for 2 points. They got a power play in overtime. I'm like, all right, here we go. We're going to cash it. And they didn't capitalize. And then I had Nelson for a goal and a point in like a parlay. And he had a breakaway and hit the post. Like he just missed, man. So that was like the swing right there. It would have been a nice swing if that would have cashed. So that game sunk me pretty bad, like as far as the games go. That and the Wild. I took Wild props pregame with Rossi and Kaprizov, and then I grabbed them live, but they were down 2-1, and they lose 5-1. That third period
was a weird one.
Yeah, the Wild had been so good, it just like it didn't make sense to me. Like I was able, you could bet third period props on FanDuel, which is pretty sweet, and I was like, oh, Kaprizov to get a point in the third period. Yeah, why not? They're down 2-1, they're going to come back, and then no, they get blanked. They give up 4 goals. So crazy ending there. I was surprised by that in general.
I guess the Kings are good.
No, nope. I'm not going to say that. Nope. That Nelson breakaway cost me that shots on goal parlay. I hit him and Dobson at 3, and Nelson finished with 2, so that sucked. Dobson hit, and I thought maybe overtime too, more action, but no dice there. Other notable games here: St. Louis beats Tampa Bay, but Tampa Bay's kind of struggled on the road this season. Colorado puts a pretty good beat down on Seattle. Winnipeg, like you said, Betsky, they just owned Utah. They blanked them 3-0. Toronto, too, that game, too. We talked about that the day before. Said Toronto money line. We'd love it. Matthews got announced out. The money line moved from -160 to -125, and we all stayed off of it.
Yep. So annoying.
That was my biggest regret of the night, too, because I looked at that and I said, why is Matthews moving this line 40 cents? I know he's arguably the best player, one of the best players in the league, but 40 cents for him being out is kind of a ridiculous overreaction on that money line, I think. And I kind of fell into that trap of it. Scared me off.
He has 10 goals in 10 games versus them. So, that's a pretty significant loss. I also laid off a Marner
on the money line. That's crazy. I know. Yeah, that's like their whole top line's out.
I know. It's just Boston was kind of rolling. They had like 2 wins in a row, even though they're against bad teams. But yeah, that was a Toronto spot. We called it. We said it. We said, look at their props. Marner assist was one that was bettable and actually went down in price. Yeah. And I just didn't do any of it. I took Nylander's shots, which was a loser, obviously. So yeah. And that was another one. Like he like dominates without Matthews. And of course, like he can't friggin' hit the net. And Pacioretty has 5 shots. Get the hell out of here with that shit.
Yeah. Weird slate, but we can get into tonight's game. So tonight we have 3, but let's start with the early one. We have Nashville at Washington. Let me pull up the money lines here. Nashville plus 102 on the money line. Washington -122. Total is set at 6. -115 to the over. Betsky, I'm going to start with you. Any plays on the side or total in this game? I mean, Washington's been hot. Nashville has
I know. Yeah, I really want to be able to back Nashville here, but man, I don't think you can. Yeah.
I have a tweet from Barry Trotz.
Here too, but these are. I'm waiting for the Capitals to kind of fall off, which I'm not as convinced that they will, and I'm waiting for Nashville to really kick it all into gear, which it almost seemed like they were about to. So these are like two teams that outside of props, I just do not like on the sides or totals realm right now, because I mean, unless you just want to go for pure value and just do something like predict a game script that obviously the books aren't leaning into, then I don't want to use these teams right now for like parlay pieces, for like anything.
Yeah. Buchagros tweeted out earlier, Nashville Predators general manager Barry Trotz said in a radio interview on Tuesday, if we don't get going, then I'm going to start our rebuild plan.
Wow.
That's not encouraging in Nashville by any means after they make all these splashes in the offseason, bring in a few big guns, Marchessault, Stamkos.
Imagine if they trade
we're 1 month
back
in
to Tampa.
We're 1 month in and we're talking about a rebuild plan?
Yeah, that's crazy. They went in. They went in on this team.
Everything, all the chips pushed to the middle. Nashville's all in this season, and it hasn't panned out so far. And for their GM to say, basically, if we don't have a winning record, essentially by the end of the month, and start to show some sort of promise with this team that we've assembled, everything's coming off the board. Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. Franco, did you have any plays on the side or total in this game?
I think I lean Caps here if I had to take a side. Nashville has just let me down, man, this year. I think we were all high on them coming into the season. When we did the breakdowns for their season outlook, we were very high on them. We were down on this Caps team, and it's been a flip-flop, at least to start the season. Obviously, things can change. It's still early, but I would, if I had to take a side, it would have to be Caps, just because Nashville's just been so damn inconsistent. Total-wise, though, I'm definitely doing the first period over because it falls in line with that system play we've been rolling with. It's minus 135, not too bad. I think you can get better lines elsewhere, so shop around. But cashed two of them last night in games with teams that haven't been scoring, so I'm going right back to it, man. Like, you just got to do it. Seattle's on 2 straight shutouts, and they even got a goal yesterday against the Avalanche. There's 3 goals in that first period. Same for the Flyers. They were off a shutout, and both teams scored in that first period, them and Carolina. So don't mind both teams scoring the first period, but I'm just going to go with the first period over for sure.
Yeah, I like it. I was looking at some trends. Nashville Predators have hit the first game, or the Capitals have hit the first period game total over in 26 of the last 43 home games, but obviously that's spanning a few years, so not much to consider there. But getting into the props for tonight in this matchup, Franco, I'm just going to throw it right back to you here. Any looks on either side of the ice?
Well, we're getting crazy value on somebody on the top line. That's Alexei Protas, plus 155 for his point. Just seems ridiculous considering that Strome is minus 148 and Ovechkin's like always minus 190, minus 200. So give me him. He's been rolling 4 points in his last 3. I don't mind taking his goal prop either. I think that's like a plus 400, plus 500 area. So I'm going to look at, I'm probably split like a unit between his point and his goal prop. I think you got to keep rolling with Ovechkin goal as well. That's like plus 130, plus 135. I don't think there's any reason to stop. When he wants it and he's scoring, you just keep rolling with it. Like I said, I lean the Washington side, so I want to be involved in Washington props. And then the other one is McMichael. I mean, he's been awesome. Might sprinkle his goal prop as well, and point props. So both of those, all 3 of those guys for goal props for sure. The value's there, not as much on Ovechkin, but the value's there for McMichael and Protas for sure.
Yeah, I have some updates on the Ovechkin chase for Gretzky. So, reading the NHL on Tap article, it says Alex Ovechkin has 7 goals in 11 games for the Capitals this season, including 5 during a 4-game goal streak. He has 860 in his career. At this pace, the 39-year-old will reach 52 goals this season and break Wayne Gretzky's NHL record of 894 goals at the Los Angeles Kings on March 13th. So if he stays on this pace,
he'll go through a cold spell.
He definitely will, but it's just
crazy.
It's just crazy to even consider. We talked about this on the preview show of this team basically saying, all right, Ovechkin's done so much for us. We're just going to put a respectable team behind him and kind of get him this record, whether it's this season and most likely next season. But if he stays on this pace and breaks it this season, that would be incredible. Incredible.
I was thinking it had been much longer since he's had a 50-goal season, but he had 50 goals just back in 2021-22. So, yeah.
It's crazy how, like, a player of, like, what his current style of play, not obviously, he's way different than what he used to be, right? He used to fly around the ice, he used to, like, lay out people and stuff. He's not that guy anymore. And, like, given his style, the fact that he's able to still go on these tears scoring goals like crazy just doesn't make sense in my mind at all. Like Jágr, when he played up until he was like 45 or whatever the hell he was so freaking old. He still like had flashes of like that player, that skating ability, those hands and stuff. Ovi's just sitting in that spot, like ripping one-timers, and still like teams can't stop it. It like doesn't compute in my mind. Like, how the hell are you still conceding goals to this guy? It's just pretty impressive.
No, it's absolutely incredible. And it's not like they have a new playbook every game for him to kind of get a scoring opportunity. Like, they just take the ball and they just run it every time. It's like, you know what's coming and they just can't stop it for whatever reason. Yep. It's insane.
I also love that they got Backstrom 2.0 with Strome here.
Yeah.
Like, what a perfect center to just keep the torch going for Ovi.
Yeah. Yes, I mean, Strome assist. Like, that's been hitting a ton as of late. 4-4. And he said in each of his last 4 home games. But going off, one of the props I did like was Connor McMichael point tonight. I know his shots on goal is bettable.
Player. Holy cow. God.
Wow. So he's on the second line, first power play unit. Nashville ranks 26th in goals against per game. Washington ranks 3rd in goals for per game. Washington has scored 5 or more goals in 3 of their last 4 games, and Nashville has given up at least 3 in 4 of their last 5. He's got 8 points in 11 games this season. He has never missed back-to-back games. He missed the last game. He's hit in each of his last 5 overall as well, and then 6 of his 7 games at home this season. 3rd on the team in points, 5th on the team in forwards for time on ice. And you're getting that at -105 tonight on DraftKings. I will happily take that bet for Connor McMichael over half a point tonight, -105. Betsy, any looks for you?
No, you guys covered everything. I think the only other thing that would maybe get my attention is Forsberg shots, but you can literally say that like any game. He was drafted by the Capitals and traded to Nashville for Martin Erat.
Yep, never forget, baby.
No.
What a trade.
He has hit in the 3 of the last 6 against them. It's 3.5 today, so it's pretty juiced. So maybe a parlay piece, if anything. But yeah, I mean,
the one other prop I did want to put a caution flag out for was Roman Josi over 3.5 shots on goal tonight. I know he's been great as of late, hitting in each of his last 5 games, but his home and away splits are extremely noticeable. He's been much better at home this season, struggled on the road. So while he has been great overall in the last 5, the only worry I have with that is his splits on the road have been much worse, and Washington doesn't give up a ton of shots on goal against. So that's kind of my one player to be wary of tonight. And Nyquist point is another great look too. Despite Washington being great kind of defensively this season, they're still giving up 2 to 3 a game. And he's hitting 6 of his last 7 on the road and each of his last 5 overall. So if you are looking to back Nashville tonight and think they can kind of turn things around, he'd be a guy I would probably target on that side. Any other looks?
No, I think that does it all for me.
Yeah.
It's weird how Yossi, because wasn't Yossi a road guy last year? It's weird how these players swap.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense at all.
No.
Yeah, I'm pulling up. So he's hitting each of his last 6 home games.
27% hit rate on the road last season. 12 out of 44 games, which that doesn't add up. So they must.
And he's only hit twice on the road this season.
And then last year hit 55% at home. I mean, the season's still early, but 29% when you take out the playoff games on the road last year.
Yeah, so like I said, that was kind of my big player prop to stay away from tonight, just because you see a few guys kind of fall into that trap of home and away splits, and he is one of them.
Now, they've only played 3 games on the road this season.
That's kind of funky, huh? And they still stink, even though they've had like a crazy amount of home games. That's pretty bad.
Yeah, that's true.
Woof.
So maybe the home and away splits aren't that noticeable if he's hitting 2 of his last 3 on the road. All right, so I take that back then. He's hitting 2 or 3 on the road this season, but just looking back in his last 10 on the road, he's only covered in 4. So I figured they'd play more than 3 games on the road, which is kind of why I brought that up, but I guess not. So maybe he isn't playing tonight.
He's still done 1/6 of his hits from last season.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So maybe Yossi is on the board, but again, Washington's just shots on goal attempts. That's, I guess, the limiting factor there. But could be. You're getting some plus money tonight on him. I think he is. Let me pull it up. Plus 115. Maybe take a look, but I feel like there's a few other props that McMichael, Ovechkin, Nyquist.
I'll take Yossi in a better matchup.
Yeah, agreed. All right, moving along here, we have the Detroit Red Wings at the Chicago Blackhawks. Split both ways, minus 110 to each side. If you were to tell a Detroit Red Wings fan at the start of November, I get they're on the road, but it'd be a pick'em between you guys and the Chicago Blackhawks, I don't think that'd go over too well with that fan base.
No. Yzerman stinks.
Crazy.
Yeah, the Yzer plan is falling apart.
The Yzer plan is just dead.
Yeah, Detroit's 5-1-1 this season. Chicago 5-7-1. I guess we'll start here. Any plays on the side or total for either of you tonight?
Well, Kane in Chicago.
Yeah, I think this is like
330.
This is straight to props, man. This is straight to props. I feel like.
Yeah.
I mean, do you guys have any interest in the sides or totals?
No.
I don't think so.
Nope.
No.
Nope. Do I trust either of these teams? Nope.
Maybe lean over, but
maybe if any of these teams
everything is saying though that the Red Wings are a better team than the Blackhawks, and yet they're just baiting.
They are.
They are for sure. But why are they only minus 110? Why is it a pick 'em tonight?
Well, Chicago has like a 2-game winning streak, right?
Yeah.
And they're in that old spot that doesn't matter anymore, apparently, coming off a road trip, right? So,
I mean, Detroit just beat Buffalo. They've been off for a few days. They lost 3 before that to Winnipeg, Edmonton, and Buffalo. Then they beat Buffalo again. Chicago's beat Anaheim and LA. They lost to the Sharks. They beat the Avalanche. Why is this a
weird
start or something?
Why is this a pick 'em?
I don't know. It's definitely a trap line on Detroit. Like Detroit seems like
it's a huge trap line on Detroit. I'm trying to pull up other books here to see the money line. So yeah, DraftKings has this split. FanDuel has it split. BetMGM has the Red Wings at minus 115. Caesars has the Red Wings at minus 120. So are people just betting the Blackhawk or betting the Red Wings just because they think this is a trap line, or like
You know what this means? Take the draw. Just take the draw. The game last year went to that game that
you did
with the Kane goal in OT. So I mean, maybe you just do that and boom, done.
I mean, it's the second time
he returns
for not taking Detroit.
Yeah. Kane returns to Chicago for the second time since the Blackhawks traded him to New York on February 28th, 2023. First time he had a game-tying goal in the third and scored in overtime.
Yeah.
Yep, 4 shots.
So you guys just going Kane tonight, or what are your looks in this one?
Bedard shots looks good.
You were starting it.
All right, we're going to give the ball to Betsky first then.
Yeah.
But yeah, Bedard shots look pretty nice to me. Last year he was better at home than away. This year he's really started off cold, so you really need to kind of put the trust in him. But he had 6 attempts and 9 attempts his last 2 games. Hit against Anaheim, but who doesn't? But has hit against Detroit before, and Detroit is pretty leaky right now to shots. So if you want Bedard props, tonight feels like a decent night to do it. I don't know, maybe water him down to 3 and bundle him up with a Strome point or something. There's nothing that exciting in here outside of, I think Kane at 2 points at plus 330 feels, and at that point, why not just add the money line? Because if Kane has 2 points, how are they losing? Right?
Yeah. Who's getting the nod for them tonight? Talbot. So,
yeah, Talbot and Mrazek.
Or Kane 3 shots and a point looks probably pretty decent. Yeah, man.
So Mrazek's allowed at least 3 in 3 of his 4 matchups, but yeah, I don't know.
Kane's shots look pretty brutal lately.
Yeah, this is one of those things where you're just trusting. You're just trusting that he's gonna come out. But I mean, it's very bettable at minus 105 for 3.
Yeah, and then DeBrincat. You got that angle too, but historically, he hasn't been like just wrecking Chicago. And
his
then
shots
on top
are
of it,
up and down.
his shots are awful right now. How many points does he have?
9 points in 11 games this year, so not.
Yeah, he's hitting 4 of his last 5.
Sure doesn't feel like that.
It doesn't feel like it.
They put Kane on the top line.
Yeah, Kane and DeBrincat are on the top line with Larkin.
Is that just for tonight?
No, it was last game too.
Raymond was moved down last game. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, Raymond's been cold.
Yeah,
so he got bumped.
Kane and Raymond both have the same odds for over half a point tonight, which is interesting too.
Yeah, give me Kane with Larkin and DeBrincat over Raymond with Comfer and Kopp any day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
eyes are playing, baby.
Yep. So you're looking at Kane tonight, Betsky. Any other plays on that side of the ice?
No.
Donato shots on goal has looked pretty good. He's hitting 4 of his last 5 games. But Franco, you're nodding your head. Is that one of your plays tonight?
Yeah, I do like that one. Plus 125 for 3. I don't mind his goal as well, just because he's been scoring. So he's a good value guy if you want to like go there.
And last year, remember, he was just the darling for like a month.
Yep.
Like
you take him while he's going, and then you hop off when he's gone. It's
and he's never going to come back. Was he 1.5 last year when everybody was on it, or he was 2.5? It was just like plus money for like a month straight.
Yeah,
I'm looking at the chart right now.
You're getting a good number today.
February, early March.
Yeah, you just take it, man. I mean, he's playing while he's shooting, so you take it while he's hot and hop off when he's not. It's pretty straightforward. I mean, he played on the top line with Bedard last game, so just depends. If you think Bedard's gonna be shooting, maybe he steals it from him a little bit.
Yeah, but there's still shots to go around. Like if Bedard has 4 shots, there's still plenty to go around.
Yeah,
and the lines haven't changed
else on
either.
Chicago shoots.
Like when he's been hot though, like Donat's been hot the last few games, it's not like he just got moved up. Like those lines have stayed pretty consistent. So you know what they're getting. It's not like we can get to the next game, Edmonton tonight, where they must have listened to the show because they shuffled all the lines up. Really interesting next game. But any other looks for you, Franco? I had one other shots on goal guy, but I don't know if you're going to bring him up.
Probably not. So if you let me, I'll do my points or whatever that I'm going to do, and then you can hit them. But so I'm going to go to Bedard 2 points. That's plus 260. Wow. Just given this being a home game, and it is like the TNT game tonight, I guess. So it's kind of a big deal. You know, I don't know why this is the showcase game of the night, but here we are.
Because it's rivalry night, baby.
I guess. So I mean,
and
I'm on his.
Have one.
I'm on. Yeah, I guess historically,
it's Islanders versus San Jose on rivalry night.
Yeah. No. So I think that's good
Panthers.
value. Plus 260 for 2 points for Bedard feels damn good. I am on the Kane 2 points as well. Like I want all the Kane props, so I'm going to do Kane 2 points. I'm going to do like either Kane and DeBrincat or Kane and Larkin point parlay. I feel like is a good way to get value there, just because there's so much correlation. And why would you not take Kane goal and his shots? I think just given the situation and stuff. So really 3 guys I'm targeting is Kane, DeBrincat, and Bedard tonight. So that's where I'm going to be heavily probably when everything's said and done.
I like it. The one guy I did have, you can see as the third player prop option is Seth Jones shots on goal. I sent you guys the charts on Twitter, but they line up perfectly for tonight. I get Seth Jones has not hit in 4 of his last 5 games. His attempts have still been pretty decent, averaging 4.8. So he is still shooting the puck. You're going to get that line at 2.5 shots on goal. Detroit ranks 31st in shots allowed per game played. In their last 5 games, they've actually averaged more than that. So they're continuing to allow shots on goal and not get better in that department. They also give up the second most shots on goal to defensemen this season. And Seth Jones fits perfectly into that role. He leads the Blackhawks in time on ice. He's on that first line of defense, and he's on that first power play unit. The Detroit's power play, like their shots on goal chart on HockeyViz, is actually worse than their 5-on-5 in terms of what they're giving up to defensemen. And Detroit's pretty much taken 3 to 4 penalties the last few games. So I like that a lot. You're getting it at minus 110 on DraftKings. So that's my look for tonight. Any other
better
plays?
At home too. So
yep,
I like
much
that.
better at home.
I didn't love it when you first brought it up before we started recording, but
hitting 4 of his last 5 at home. Minus 110. It's not terrible odds. I mean, when he gets rolling, though, we've seen on the opposite side of things where he's up to that minus 140 range. So this is your time to buy low on him.
It's crazy how many defensemen have been just ripping puck at the beginning of the season.
Dobson
in that territory. Yeah, Dobson.
Werenski
and Carlson's heating up now. Quinn Hughes again.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Yossi definitely has been too.
Bouchard.
Yep. Seth Jones started hot. Bouchard's calmed down a little bit, right?
Yeah. But again, he's one of those streaky guys too.
That could have been partially because McDavid's out or was out. Oh, never mind. No, he's hit 7 of his last 10 for his 2.5. I'm not.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting.
Suspiciously at 3.5 tonight.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen the past few years too. I mean, defensemen have kind of been on that around that 1.5 shots on goal mark. They were offered on some teams, not others. And now it seems like it's just a giant market for them, especially this season. So don't know if it's the defensive style of teams adjusting to try to kind of condense around the goalie and allow more shots outside or what. But that is a pretty good observation. All right. Last game of the night here, the Edmonton Oilers take on the Vegas Golden Knights. The Oilers are minus 162 on the money line. Total is set at 6.5. So much for McDavid being out 2 to 3 weeks. Missed 3 games, and now he's back in the lineup tonight. And their lineup has changed tremendously. So, have you guys seen it?
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. Skinner, McDavid, Hyman at the top. Podkolzin, Draisaitl, Arvidsson on the second line. Henrique, Ryan Nugent, Hopkins, Connor Brown on the third. Defensive pairings look pretty similar. And Holloway and Broberg got injured.
Oh yeah, that was crazy with Holloway, man. Like
Yeah,
he
it
looked
was.
fine. You saw him skating, and then that's rough.
Ton of props on the board tonight here in this matchup. But do you guys have any plays on the side or total?
I mean, I want Vegas just on a pure value standpoint here, but that Edmonton line's got me shook, right?
Yeah,
and the amount of money that came
it's
in.
weird. It's like 3 games all have kind of trappy lines. Like that Nashville at only plus 105 with how bad they've been playing. Like, I think that one's the least trappy, but man, the split for Detroit and Chicago and then Edmonton this heavily favored. I'm assuming McDavid's 100%, but the forward lines are all blended up, so God knows what you're getting.
Edmonton's went 2-2 in their last 4, and Vegas is 5. They've won 5 of their last 6, and they're plus 135 tonight. Vegas has not won on the road yet this season. They're 0-3-1.
0-4, right? Okay.
At home, they're 8-0.
More reason for them to bounce back, though. And that
Edmonton's
road trip
been worse
was
at home
in the East. That was like Carolina, Tampa, Florida. Like, good luck there.
Yeah, Edmonton's 2-4-1 at home, 4-2-0 on the road. So I don't know. At minus 162 against the Vegas team, a few injuries, but not anything of really note. Nothing that's changed. I don't know. It feels like a trap line.
Yes, it does.
So Hill's going to get the nod for Vegas, and I'm trying to pull up how he's done in his last few games. 3 shutout, 4.
Just
I don't know. Yeah. We'll get into the props though, because I think everyone's kind of staying away from the money lines and totals in this game. But Franco, what are your looks for props tonight?
So first guy I circled is Dorofeyev for shots.
Yeah.
Plus 125, I believe, for over 2.5. He's hit 4 of his last 5. Just looks good. He's getting time. I mean, this is a guy that showed flashes last year of looking like a pretty decent player in the league, and kind of got squeezed out during their playoff run because everybody came back. So now he's getting top 2 line minutes and looking the part. 3 points in his last 3 as well, 3 goals along that stretch. So I don't mind sprinkling his goal prop or his point prop as well. Like he would be the main guy I would circle for Vegas. I think I don't mind going with the typical guys if you want to do like a Eichel Stone parlay. That's typical or something like that. But on the Edmonton side, I don't really know how to feel, right? So
you feel
the Oilers they've looked good, right? They've looked good. And then they get shut out when everybody's on them in that last game on Draisaitl. They get 2 points and all these props, and then now they get McDavid back miraculously. And so what happens now? Do they explode, or is it like lackadaisical, like type of you don't know what you're going to get from them, right? So I'm a little hesitant there on their props. Obviously, there's a lot of value on McDavid 2 points and Draisaitl to get 2 points again, and it's like I don't know really where to go. I think mainly I'm going to be just kind of watching and admiring, I guess, at this point for this game on the Edmonton side. Let's put it that way. I mean, I don't know. I think there's something there. I just can't quite place my finger on it, so I would rather just kind of stay off.
Either McDavid or Skinner is going to have a night that they post like 4 or 5 shots on goal. I just don't know which in this matchup. And speaking of Jeff Skinner, just the glow up he has had of getting benched by the Sabres last year for kind of during that last stretch. And now he's on a line with Connor McDavid and he's playing well. I mean, that's what happens when you leave Buffalo, I guess. Just good things happen to him. So credit to him. So you mentioned Dorofeyev point. Even his point looks good tonight. His shots on goals look good. McDavid has been shooting before he was hurt. So I may look back again at that. I don't know how Skinner's stats, but again, they haven't played together this season at all. So not really sure what's going to happen with that. Bouchard over 1.5 block shots tonight was also a look I had circled. I don't have it up yet, but yes,
7 straight.
Yep. So I think that line too is around. Let me look at blocks.
Minus
they don't have them listed on DraftKings right now. Yeah, minus 130 range. So I feel like that's not a terrible look tonight as well. Vegas has been shooting.
And this team, Edmonton didn't make it to the Cup final because of Vegas, and I think they play them hard. Maybe that's why the money line's so juiced.
Yeah. Vegas power play. So Vegas ranks, I think, 3rd in the power play percentage this season. Edmonton's like near dead last. Mark Stone has had a power play point in 4 of his last 6 games overall. I know his point's not bettable. His assist is bettable, but you're also getting some pretty incredible on his power play point at like plus 300. So that may be a look I kind of sprinkle in depending on how the night's going as well. But Betsky, do you have any looks in this one?
Jack Eichel has some good history against Edmonton too, and it seems like he may finally be deciding to shoot the puck, which is something he has not done much. So over his last 5 games, he's hit his 3.5 line 3 of those games and is averaging 5.6 shot attempts again. A couple of years ago, I don't remember if it was as definitive last year, but yeah, it was. Just a complete road dog. So 69% on the road last season. Nice. Averaging 6.2 shot attempts versus 5.7 at home. Last year, he was just kind of shooting all over the place. But there was that period, I think 2 seasons ago, where like he would have 1 shot going into the third on road games and then manage to just get like 3 more in the third period. Again, against Edmonton, he's got a decent history for his shots. He's hit that in 7 of his last 13. And that's all regular season games as well. So don't forget, Connor McDavid was number 1 overall. Jack Eichel was number 2 overall in that famed draft. So something tells me Eichel cares more than McDavid, and Eichel can make him kiss the ring.
Yeah, he's also in a good mood. After last night, he's a huge MAGA guy. So
is he?
Yes,
I didn't
he is.
That.
Yeah, he is massive. Yeah.
Maybe that's why he looks like a clown.
Carlson point 2 I had circled, and his shots on goal. Carlson's hit in each of his last 6 games, and his shots on goal he's hit in 4 of his last 4. His point's more bettable than his shots on goal. So I do like his point for tonight. I'll probably add that to the card. Any other looks for you guys here?
So when you guys were talking about Stone and Eichel both being productive versus them, you can do their point parlay on DK. It's plus 120 just for each of them to record a point. So Eichel, you're talking about the power play being effective, getting plus money here seems like ridiculous value. So I'm going to add that. The other thing too is this also falls into that over 1.5 in the first period. It's just not bettable. It's minus 160. So what I'm probably going to do is grab both teams to score at plus 135 in the first period. And then I'm going to be looking to grab an over 1.5 live in this game. Vegas has been fantastic in the first period, scoring goals. So, and if Edmonton's flying with McDavid, then this could definitely see 2 goals or maybe even 3, to be honest with you. And I can see both teams scoring, just given what we've seen from both of these teams. And kind of this being a bit like a marquee matchup, really, when it comes down to, I think both teams are going to want to show something here. And especially with McDavid coming back, they're going to want to say, yeah, we're good with McDavid too. We're not just we're not good without him. So
yeah. I mean, there's a few other props too, like Bouchard. So Matthias Ekholm over 2.5 shots on goal. Hurdle point, his over 1.5 shots on goal. Darnell Nurse shots on goal. It feels like there's a ton of props in this game. It's just all depends on the script, whether Edmonton starts shooting or they kind of fall into that trap. like we've seen. But if you look at the past few games, at 31, 31, 29. So, yeah. But then Vegas held Utah to 19 shots on goal, Calgary to 16. I don't know. It's an interesting game. I probably will go light in this one just because the vulnerability of each side. But any other looks for tonight before we wrap up?
No, I think 40 minutes on 3 games is pretty good.
Yep. Franco, did you just want to recap your card quickly?
Yeah, so in Nashville, Washington, I'm on the over 1.5 in the first period. That's probably my favorite play on that game. I like Ovechkin goal. I like Connor McMichael goal and point props, and I like Alexei Protas goal and point props there. For the Detroit and Chicago game, I'm leaning heavily on 3 players, Bedard, Kane, and DeBrincat. So any which way you can grab them, I'm looking at Kane shots, Kane goal, Kane 2 points, and then Bedard 2 points, and then probably maybe like a DeBrincat and Kane point parlay or something like that. For the Vegas and Oilers game, I'm looking at Dorofeyev shots, both teams to score in the first period. And I think I'm going to grab that Eichel and Stone point parlay. I feel like that's really nice at plus 120.
I like that.
Yeah.
Betsky, do you want to recap your card before we wrap up?
Yeah. I really like Ovechkin shots at 3 plus his goal. If you want to get on his goal, might as well just get some extra juice on that with the shots involved there. I really do like Strome assist too. Again, if you're going on that, if you are into Ovi goal, it's not a bad look on top of it. I do like that Michael point too that you brought up. For the Detroit-Chicago game, you've convinced me on the Seth Jones shot, so I placed that, but I also am on Kane for 2 points at plus 330. I think that value is just too good to pass up. And then otherwise, I kind of like if you want to just look for like a little parlay or something in that game, like Bedard 3 shots plus a Kane point. I know that you're getting a little heavy on Kane points at that point. Jeez, I've said that a lot. But
King points.
Yeah. But, you may not get 2. So then the 3 shots plus that point should get you at least even money to get that money back. And then, yeah, I think, unfortunately, I do think it's going to be a big Eichel night. Again, these 2 teams play against each other quite a bit. There's some rivalry there. They're in the same division. And Dorofeyev shots is one of my favorites from that game as well.
Yep. So I had McMichael point in that first matchup. In the second one, I had Seth Jones shots on goal. And then in the third, I probably will go with Dorofeyev shots on goal and maybe a Carlson point. So,
and having us all 3 on the Dorofeyev shots, it's one of those props. And Donato we brought up. Donato seems a little riskier right now, but it's one of those things where you're getting this opportunity, and as much as hockey can be hard to bet on, and the disrespect some of the books give it, as in FanDuel not even giving you like 1/4 of the player points that other books do. This is where you can get a huge advantage in hockey because it takes them forever to adjust lines. I mean, the simple observation of him moving to top power play and on that second line, and then the volume he started hitting afterwards. It's been 5 games now, and he's still like often at round plus money to at worst minus 110 ish, plus 122 still. It's just crazy. His actual shot volume isn't the best, but it's that's where your advantage is from betting hockey.
Yeah, I also I forgot to add Bouchard over 1.5 block shots. That's going to be in that last game as well, minus 130. Yep. So I think that's a good play. All right, we want to thank all of our sponsors, Game Time, Raycon, and DraftKings, for sponsoring this episode. We appreciate everyone for listening. Please go check out all of our social media on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. Once more, thank you guys for joining us, and we will see everyone on Friday.